back and trace a new one to start over with. Sorry, it's hard to talk and paint at the same time. Try it sometime. Okay. Okay. These colors are pretty cool. You guys noticing the way it sort of, they blend together? And
we still don't know what Kinko's does when you take your...
Kinko's will help you get it to the right proportion. They can even blow it up for you on one sheet of paper so you don't have to tape them all together like I usually do out of my scanner.
How do you get it on the watercolor paper though?
Then I take this thing, I tape it to the back of my watercolor paper. You will see where I've got a line for the edge of the paper here and here. I don't always do that, but on this case I needed to because I wanted them to be the same placement. And I put it, you can either take it up to a window and I tape it to the back so that it doesn't slide around, because sometime during this process you're going to move it, or if you're on a window you're going to have to put your arms down. So tape it so it doesn't move around, and then trace it through. Lately I've been using a 4B pencil. I just stay away from a real hard pencil because you can end up putting grooves in your paper that you will really regret later. And I just trace it down there with, trying to keep my lines relatively light. It's sort of, that's something you just have to get with experience to some degree, because sometimes those lines will be so light you lose them, and other times so dark that you're trying to get them out of there later. Oh, this is turning out lovely if I do say so myself. Hope it dries as well as it looks.
It's dark.
Well, a lot of times it's so pretty when it's wet and then it dries and it gets, sort of dull looking, and sort of losing my lips.
Can everybody hear Heidi?
No.
Sorry.
Listen, there's a lot of side conversation going on, so if we could, it's tough enough for me because
Project, oh, that's not a problem for me.
if Heidi talks louder and we're quieter, we could probably...
That is really a cool shadow here. I'm not sure I'm going to get it entirely, but it's a cool shadow and I want to make it sort of disappears. So we'll go in there with some water. So anybody, what were the other questions I was... Does that answer your question for the tracing?
So do you tape it to the back of the paper?
I do.
Put light behind
Yeah, you can. They do sell something at Dick Blick. I don't remember the name of it. But it's sort of like carbon paper, but it's graphite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to make my own sort of carbon paper out of graphite by just scribbling on the back. And that can work. You can get real sore scribbling all those lines. And I'm probably going to not get all of these. I guess I should really focus on this. Okay. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? I have something over here. Oh, I've got some classes going. White Bear Center for the Arts is where I've been teaching lately. Oh, they got such nice space compared to my basement. The class, I'm doing 2 classes. One is sort of a beginner level class, second level of a beginner level class. They've already taken like 6 weeks of at least of beginning class. And the other one is an intermediate, which I would say is probably getting awfully dang close to advanced. But don't tell them that. I mean, if they're happy saying they're intermediate, I'll tell them that. What the heck? One of them started this week. The beginning class started more beginning class started this week. The other one started the week before. But it's anyway, you can do makeup classes by coming to the other one, is what I'm trying to get out there. So you could, if you wanted to join it. I also have a portrait class coming up at the same place, White Bear Center for the Arts, and it's a 2-day. This one's Wednesdays. The last one I did was on a Saturday, and that's in the middle 2 Wednesdays, if I remember correctly, if that's, something like that, of May. And I will be working mostly with the the girl with the freckles over here. Thought I'd check and see if there was anything I missed during the confusion over the, nope, I think I got
It's
everything.
interesting on your skin to see where you're leaving your sharp edges and your soft edges, you know. How do you decide which side to put the softness on?
Mostly just by what I see. That's what I mean by not being much of a formula painter. You know, some people were asking me if on the break, if I use formulas like so much room between the eye and the, you know, each eye. And sometimes I will use stuff like that to go and check myself. But I really caution people with that because everybody's an individual and those things should be, in my opinion at least, loosely used.
Okay. Otherwise, it's too technical.
Yeah, well, it is for me. It's interesting that the same colors are pretty much in her hair. And I redid some of these waves in her hair. I don't know how much I want to stick with what I see drew here. I'll probably lose them anyway. Trying to figure out which one goes on top down here is just, oh, forget that. I probably would if I was at home, though. I should fight those urges. Oh, that was turning out pretty cool. I would like to try and keep these highlights on these. I don't know what she's done to this hair. It's sort of, looks almost like rope in some ways, where it looks, maybe it's braided, and then she's done this. She's such a pretty young lady. She always has her hair with this headband and the bow that matches the outfit, and it's all color coordinated and just.
Where are her folks from again?
Nigeria. We have a lot of people at my church from Nigeria. I really am looking at, they used to come in their outfits from Nigeria. Oh, they were so cool. And there was this one lady that wore this purple outfit. It was purple and white. And I so want, I'm gonna go up and ask her to wear it. I am. Yeah, I walked into church a couple of weeks, oh, that's not where that's supposed to be. And went by asking everybody of color practically. I need some pictures of black people. You mind if I take them? That's not exactly how I put it. I went and said, I have got an idea for, and what the idea I want to try and work out, and so far I haven't come up, the sketches that I've done aren't working, so I wanted to try weaving some together, where we take pictures of white people and cut them apart and actually weave it together, although I probably more accurately will be painting something that looks like that because I want to have more control over it than I want to make sure that, you know, the eyes are positioned where I want them and not where they would be if I just wove it. But I also thought it'd be sort of a cool thing to use all those demos I've done. You know, hey, we got a use for these, you know, multiples. I am just going to fuzz this out. Part of where this idea for fascination with drawing the black people came from was an ad I ran into where these kids had let their hair go natural, and it was just this billowy. Cool. Maybe I can talk somebody into doing that for me too. I think I better try and get some of this detail in here because I'm running out of time. The wrong brown?
So what are you looking for there?
I'm looking for a much browner color than this. It's supposed to be sort of a brownish purple color.
That's for the shadow?
Yeah. And I would then oftentimes go with this one especially, it gets so dark that I might actually, the last one, which I doubt I'm gonna get to tonight, I would actually go in and probably add some blue to it.
Oh,
To put in like the nostrils and the
Right.
eye line, the pupil of the eye, and, because she is really, especially where her skin's in shadow, it's pretty dark. And that's what I liked about it. So many of the people I asked at church that day they were real light-skinned. I wanted the dark-skinned ones.
What shade of blue would you use?
I would, either an ultramarine, which is one of my very favorite colors in the whole wide world, or cobalt. I used to really be into indigo, but you got to be careful with indigo. It will just take over a painting. I mean, just take it over so easily. And I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's just such a dominant color. Got too much of that. Oh, you know what happened? I got a glob of it on my brush, so I kept mixing and mixing, trying to get rid of it and going, why is that still there? I haven't got these colors even in my palette yet. And I thought, I was out of cobalt. I usually do Winsor Newton cobalt. It's one of the things that keeps me with Winsor Newton paint because it is listed on Winsor Newton's as a granular color. And a lot of other places they list it as non-granular. And I just love that color. I always like to say with lips, you need to be careful with, this one doesn't have a lot of highlight. She has no lipstick on. So these are about as natural as they get. And part of me would just love to see this child with bright red shiny lipstick on. Because those lips are so gorgeous.
Then you could really catch a shine. Huh?
And part of me goes, I'm glad at 12 years old she's not doing that. There's time enough to do that when she's older.
You use that opera and
I
what?
did for the underpainting.
Okay.
And one of the things I really love to do is, I don't know, that might have gotten too dark there, is go in when I'm done and put some glimmers of pure red here and there. Of course, I have been known to overdo it. And this is I find this part fun. That, and I really love the part where I get to be pretty much done and just start looking at it and revising. I find that would be one of my favorite parts of painting too, that all the hard work's over and it's just the fun part to me.
Have you seen it on the screen?
No.
You really have. It's beautiful.
It's sort of like putting it on your computer screen and going, it's a little looser than I usually work, but I keep wanting to get looser, so that's fine. And somebody came up to me with one I had in here a couple of weeks ago. Oh, it's so loose, and I thought to myself, me? So I think my latest theory on that is that a lot of being looser comes with confidence. What do you think, Frank?
oh, absolutely.
Is my head out of the way still?
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah, we're
yelling
having a
at
good,
me?
real good
Very good.
picture here.
Yeah, we found a good spot here.
Well,
What was that?
Does somebody have the email list? Is it going around? Here today.
did you put our email on there, Sandy?
Yeah. Check there. I still need some more darks in there. Do I dare? Surely dare.
Have you done her before?
No. I've been too busy this week. I thought about doing it beforehand, but I just got happy with just doing my stages and worrying about whether I was going to get done far enough or not.
And I think it's turning out beautiful, Heidi.
Are you gonna give this to her?
Ah, who knows? If I gave away everything I did, I'd be in trouble. You know, it was nice, I didn't even get releases for these. I figure if the people let me take their picture, I told them what I was doing. Probably should have.
Heidi, how much longer do you think you're gonna need?
What time we getting to?
It's going on 10 up.
Okay.
Whose
You want to
clock
go
is
ahead
correct?
and, you want to go ahead and do your voting?
You're
or-
voting? No, I don't want to interrupt you though.
Okay. I don't know, who knows? I know I'm quitting by
midnight?
oh, definitely. I won't last that long.
Well, while you're doing that, I would just like everybody to know that Gail Famist has stepped up to the plate. And
Yay!
Gail, can you stand up so they can see who you are? She's got lots of experience and it'll be just wonderful.
Oh, good.
She'll have more experience than I am.
This was a simple organization when I did it before.
Who's the gal that you worked with?
Goggin? When I got the newsletter, Judy Goggin was president, and when I was the vice president, Nels was
Oh, cool.
president.
I'm running out of this color. So a lot of it's just going back and back and back and back. And I will spare you looking at it too much longer. But let me see if I can get these eyebrows in here. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this color we got going here. And a little bit more brown, make it more of a gray color. In fact, we'll just take it over there. One thing I like to point out about eyebrows is they often, especially if they have no makeup on, disappear. You'll notice I'm using stroke